If they are rapidly mortal, consciousness will vanish before this discovery. If they result in death later, then it is the same as with other illnesses. All those also who have lost consciousness in water, or from coal fumes, or through hanging, are well known to say that it happened without pain. And now, finally, the death which is properly in accordance with nature, death from old age, euthanasia, is a gradual vanishing and sinking out of existence in an imperceptible manner. Little by little in old age, the passions and desires, with the susceptibility for their objects, are extinguished. The emotions no longer find anything to excite them. For the power of presenting ideas to the mind always becomes weaker, its images fainter, the impressions no longer cleave to us, but pass over without leaving a trace, the days roll ever faster, events lose their significance, everything grows pale. The old man stricken in years totters about, or rests in a corner now only a shadow, a ghost of his former self. What remains there for death to destroy? I have here also to remark that the maintenance of the life process, although it has a metaphysical basis, does not go on without resistance, and consequently not without effort. It is this to which the organism yields every night, on account of which it then suspends the brain function, and diminishes certain secretions, the respiration, the pulse, and the development of heat. From this we may conclude that the entire ceasing of the life process must be a wonderful relief to its motive force. Perhaps this has some share in the expression of sweet contentment on the faces of most dead persons. In general, the moment of death may be like the moment of awaking from a heavy nightmare. Up to this point the result we have arrived at is that death, however much it may be feared, can yet really be no evil. But often it even appears as a good thing, as something wished for, as a friend. All that have met with insuperable obstacles to their existence or their efforts, that suffer from incurable diseases or inconsolable griefs, have as a last refuge, which generally opens to them of its own accord, the return into the womb of nature, from which they arose for a short time, enticed by the hope of more favorable conditions of existence, then have fallen to their lot, and the same path out of which constantly remains open. At the empirical point of view at which we still stand, the following consideration is one which presents itself of its own accord, and therefore deserves to be accurately defined by illustration, and thereby referred to its proper limits. The sight of a dead body shows me that sensibility, irritability, circulation of the blood, reproduction, and so on have here ceased. I conclude from this with certainty that what actuated these hitherto, which was yet always something unknown to me, now actuates them no longer, thus has departed from them. But if I should now wish to add that this must have been just what I have known only as consciousness, consequently as intelligence, this would be not only an unjustified, but clearly a false conclusion. The imperishable nature of our true being can be proved with certainty. But it is true this will not satisfy the claims which are wont to be made upon proofs of our continued existence after death, nor ensure the consolation which is expected from such proofs. However, it is always something, and whoever fears death as an absolute annihilation cannot afford to despise the perfect certainty that the inmost principle of his life remains untouched by it. Nay, the paradox might be set up that second thing also which, just like the forces of nature, remains untouched by the continual change under the guidance of causality, thus matter, by its absolute permanence, ensures us indestructibility, by virtue of which whoever was incapable of comprehending any other might yet confidently trust in a certain imperishableness. What, it will be said, the permanence of the mere dust of the crude matter, is to be regarded as a continuance of our being. Oh, do you know this dust, then? Do you know what it is, and what it can do? Learn to know it, before you despise it. This matter which now lies there as dust and ashes will soon, dissolved in water, form itself as a crystal, will shine as metal, will then emit electric sparks, will by means of its galvanic intensity manifest a force which, decomposing the closest combinations, reduces earths to metals, nay, it will, of its own accord, form itself into plants and animals, and from its mysterious womb, develop that life for the loss of which you in your narrowness, are so painfully anxious? Is it, then, absolutely nothing to continue to exist as such matter? I seriously assert that even this permanence of matter affords evidence of the indestructibility of our true nature, though only as in an image or simile, or, rather, only as in outline. To see this, we only need to call to mind the explanation of matter, given in chapter 24, from which it resulted that mere formless matter, this basis of the world of experience, which is never perceived for itself alone, but assumed as constantly remaining, is the immediate reflection, the visibility in general, of the thing in itself, thus of the will. Therefore, whatever absolutely pertains to the will as such holds good also of matter, and it reflects the true eternal nature of the will under the image of temporal imperishableness.